Alright, we're going to show you how to prepare medication for a horse. So, these are the antibiotics. Our horse was prescribed 1.5 pills morning and evening. So I will need 3 pills total for 1 day's dose. And this, also 1.5 pills morning and evening. So I'll need 3. You can take a paring knife and you're going to split the pills in half. This will make it easier for crushing. These ones are scored, so that helps figure out where the midpoint is. And they break rather easily. The smaller ones, these are the antacids. They're not scored, so you just have to be as close as possible. It's okay if you're off by a little bit. I'm not perfect. That one's a little bit smaller. So we will be taking 3 pieces for each dose. Probably mix and match. You don't want all small in one and all large in the other. That would not make an even dosage. And then we're going to crush the pills. So we have 2 doses here, and I crush them in here one at a time. Oh wait, sorry. I do not crush antibiotics. These ones actually dissolve, but other pills may not dissolve, so you'd want to crush them too. So we'll just be crushing the antacids. These little yellow guys. And you can get a mortar and pestle, which would probably be easier, but we were just resourceful and had a small measuring cup that's made out of glass here, and then a really old ice cream scoop made out of steel. I would get a strong ice cream scoop if you're going to use it, but I use it because it has a nice curve like you would need with mortar and pestle. And then you just put a lot of pressure on it until it breaks and it crushes like that. These pills crush rather easily into a nice powder. So, and then you have it broken down to that point, you want to crush it down to even finer powder, as fine as you can get it. The reason why you want to get it so fine is this pill does not dissolve in water. And so in order to make a paste to get through this, the pieces of the pill have to be smaller than this hole on the syringe. And that's why it's important to crush it pretty fine. See, that's good enough. So I'm going to take the antibiotic and the crushed pill and I store it in a Ziploc bag. That way I have all my doses ready to go. I don't have to do it every single time. And so all you have to do is add water to this and then put it in a syringe. But we'll be doing that in the next step here when I crush this. Alright, I have crushed the other pills and I've added the antibiotics. Now these antibiotics, like I said, dissolve in water, so we're going to try and dissolve those first before we mix the rest of the powder in with the paste that we're going to be making. It might not end up as a paste, it might be a little liquidy, it's kind of a trial and error sort of thing, so you have to figure out the amount of water that will work best with what you're doing, because the number of pills will change that. I have 2.5 cc's of water. I'm going to start by adding that to the antibiotics here. I may not need all of it. So I stopped at just 2 cc's. And then I'm going to take a, well, I guess you call this a spatula or rubber scraper, and just tap it around in the water and see how it disintegrates. Just a little bit of water will make these pills completely dissolve. And just tap it in. And it's already kind of got this pasty texture, which is good. Because when we add this, it'll make it even drier, and that makes it easier to put into the syringe. Alright, our antibiotics have dissolved. Now we're going to add the antacid. If it gets too thick, you can always add more water. This is probably a little too thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. You want it to be kind of in between cake batter and cookie dough. So this is a good consistency here. This will be easy to add to the syringe. And this is where the rubber scraper comes in really handy, because it can get pretty much all of the medication off of the wall of the glass bowl here. So we'll be adding this into the syringe. There is a little stop on the inside of these smaller syringes, so it might be difficult to pull out the plunger or push it back in. You want your air to be at this end when you put the plunger back in, because if your medication is here and you stick the plunger in and you try to push it through, the air will push your medication out. So it's best to keep, this is why it's easier to have it as a paste, so that the medication stays at the back of the syringe. That's why a lot of horse warmers are also made with pastes or gels. You just push it in a bit at a time, just like cooking. We don't have much left, but we're almost done here. And this is probably as much of the medication you'll be able to get in, but that is most of it. So now we add the plunger. You might have a little bit of residue on the outside, that's okay. The horse probably not get it all in their mouth anyway. So here we come across the rubber stoppers meeting that ridge again, and you're going to run into a little resistance. So you want to have a firm pressure. You don't want it to surprise you and you accidentally push it too far. So we have it in now. There's a little bit of water in the plunger that won't really cause a problem. Now you can go and administer this to your horse.